In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we alive with me. Are you having fun? Okay, just playing. Okay, no singing, no singing. Let's just get into the podcast. Hi everyone, happy Monday. Hope your week's going well. Hope your week is full of nothing but smiles and laughters. Hope you had a great weekend. Because sadly it's come to an end, and now we are here with the Animated Mail podcast. I'm not sure what episode we are on, but today we are going to be talking about villains. Villains of the anime. You can't have a good anime without a good villain. So yeah. Before we do that, let's make sure you subscribe. Smash that like button, pretty please. And leave a comment if you want to, give me your thoughts and opinions about your favorite villain or what you think is the greatest villains of all time or so in your respective animes. Doesn't necessarily have to be shonen. I know shonen is more popular, um, but it doesn't have to be shonen. Yeah, just give me some list or some of your favorite villains of the animes that you frequent. But yeah, subscribe, comment, and yeah, let's get into the villain list now. Well, it's not a list. Excuse me. Not really a list that I have of villains. I more say I feel like these villains stand out from even some of the main characters of the series or even the protagonists. So, when I think of villains, I think of a bad person opposing justice, looking to hurt people versus protect people. So, the first person that comes to my mind is Frieza. Now, I personally feel as if Frieza is the best villain. Like he's hands down easily like my favorite villain within the Dragon Ball universe. But overall, I would say he would have to be in my top choice as far as villains that goes in the series. Reason being is because he had the strongest the strongest race in the universe under his control, under his freaking thumb. He was ruling them, controlling them, having them go out and destroy all these other planets. Granted, he was already birthed. He came out the womb strong as hell. But he had them under his control, and after he felt like they were going to get too strong, the Saiyans. After he felt the Saiyans were going to get too strong, he killed them. He destroyed their entire home planet and killed them, and then laughed about it. Like, bruh, you are evil. You are evil. You know what I mean? But that's why I feel like he's one of the greatest villains, or one of the best villains, because not only does he take over the strongest race or control the strongest race, he kills the entire race. And not only does that, he laughs at them. And then he goes to every other planet and seeks to dominate that planet and make it its own. Or if they don't get what he wants, he destroys them at the whim. And he can't be trusted. He's not someone that you would want to team with, under normal circumstances. Goku. What's a Goku? That's King Cold. But yeah, Frieza, and plus he looked cool. He looked cool as hell. I know he ain't cooler like his brother, but he still looks cool as hell. That's a lame joke. Won't happen again. I forgive myself. So don't hold that against me. Um, but yeah, Frieza, he's dope. I think he's a dope villain. And okay, the next villain that I would say, but I don't even really consider a villain, is Light Yagami. I honestly do not consider him a villain. Maybe he had a jaded point of view when it comes to justice and he let power get to him. But when you think about it, he kind of was, he was doing things for a good cause. He was killing people unjustly or unlawful. He just wasn't following the law. He took the law into his own control. It was some sort of monarchy that he was establishing or so, establishing dominance. But that was the protagonist, but he was more, he was a straight arrow doing things, but not necessarily by the book, but getting things done for the sake of the people and protecting society, but I also feel as if Light did that. He was the one protecting people. He was the one going through all these freaking loopholes to make sure that these villains get taken care of while under the microscope of the detectives or whatever. But he was like the most clever villain, man. Not only is he smart, handsome, good-looking guy, is a people person. He's also goal-oriented and driven by his own self-righteous justice, which ultimately ended up being his downfall. But if it wasn't for Mikami, you know what I mean? Everything would have been good. But I feel like Light Yagami, he's my favorite villain, like of all. I would say out of all the villains that I'm listing. Well, aside from the next one. Which brings me to my next one, which is Sasuke Aizen. Not Sasuke, Sosuke. Sosuke Aizen. From Bleach. And we already know, bro, I remember when I was living back in Ohio. I believe I was in Ohio. And I was watching Bleach for the first time. And I saw, like, it was the character Momo. She was like under Aizen and always around in his company. And then, like, one day he died. He got killed or so. And then they were trying to figure out, like, how'd he die. And then, like, when I initially first seen Aizen, I was like, okay, Aizen died. He wasn't a significant character to me at that point in time. At that point in time, I was looking at Byakuya, I was looking at Kenpachi, like, yo, these characters look badass, And even Renji at one point in time, I thought he was super badass. But I never expected nothing of Aizen. But when he met up with Hitsugaya and he, had a fake body, and then Gin was following him, and so was Tosin. And then he revealed to everyone, he revealed to the Soul Society, like, his plan and his schemes and stuff like that. He took those glasses off, slicked his hair back. Bruh, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And I was just like, yo, Aizen is a badass. Aizen is a complete badass, man. So his entire plot throughout the entire thing, like his freaking Shikai, or his blade, has the ability to, like, mess with your perception, and you don't even know what the hell is reality and stuff like that. So not only did he fool Soul Society and everyone up there, he conquered Huecamundo. So he was in Las Noches and he took over the Espada, and they feared him because of how strong he was, and they weren't anything to boot. They Ukuria and Grimjo and just a slew of badass Nelliel. What's my chick? Hattie Bell? That's my girl. I like her, man. Like, just a slew of the badass Espada. And Aizen was stronger than all of them. Had control over all of them. And not to mention, once he got the Hogyoku, he ended up being, he couldn't die. He, like, basically immortal. He couldn't die. And the only way to contain him is to seal him. They have not killed him. He's not dead. And there's no Dragon Balls wishing him back. There's no Death Note to kill him. He is, like, immortal. And the only way to confine his power is to chain him down. And if you manga readers, y'all read Bleach the way I did, you already know that when he was after the Full Bring and they went into the Soul Society, when the Quincy's were coming along, they needed Aizen in order to take down the Quincy's, which was dope as hell, man. So I feel like Aizen is definitely one of the most badass villains within the series. Most, like, smart. I would say he's really witful. He has his wits about him, and he's calculating. He's very calculating about the things that he did. He's very perceptive and very aware of his surroundings. And it's like, if you try to trump him, it's like he's already thinking of another scheme or plotting another scheme to stay ahead of the curve. But Aizen is definitely not only one of my favorites, but I feel like he is definitely one of the best villains out there in the series. Okay, moving on. But then, the funny thing is, within Bleach, there's still like badass villains. Aside from, like, uh Aizen. You know, you have the actually no, I would say Aizen is actually the only real villain, unless you count the ghouls or yeah, he's honestly like the only real villain. Okuria, can never pronounce the name right. Okuria, the Espada that had Orihime. He was actually a good villain. He was dope as hell. You know, he was more badass than like more calculating, or more schemish. He was a soldier. He was a ride or die. Um, let's see. Lelouch, but I don't consider him a villain either. So you know what? I'm not going to go down that. Well, I guess he technically could be a villain because I mean, it was sort of like kind of like light in a sense, though. They had the tech suits and they had the gears controlling people's actions and maneuvering them to do what they want, but he was always for the betterment of Japan. That's why he went to go, once he discovered the gears, he ended up figuring out like how to get within the system and take control of it and lead the people into freedom. And ultimately he lost control of his powers and ended up being the downfall of him. Which sucks because I really enjoyed Lelouch as like the villain. Him and Suzaku, I thought they had a nice little bond and everything. But yeah, Lelouch, he was actually not only one of my favorite characters, but I don't like to call him a villain, but the world calls him a villain, so I'll put him in the villain classification. But yeah, him. Another one would be Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. Hisoka is a beast. He is a badass. Since like Gon and Killia was going through the first, I forgot what they call it. It's been a while. The test for them to get their hunter license. Like Hisoka had that aura about him, that badass. Like you just never knew what he was thinking, what he was going to do next. He was always plotting and tricky with his little cards and stuff, and like his nin ability to like, it's basically like it's like a string or so. Like, it's been a while since I've seen Hisoka, so I don't remember all his abilities, but I know Hisoka had that. He was one of the strongest. He joined the spider group, the 12 deadly spider. I know I'm sounding so horrible with this Hunter x Hunter, but I watch so many different animes, it's hard to remember all of them out on the spot like that. But he joined the spider, I believe it's like 12 deadly spiders or whatever. He joined them specifically to just fight, to kill the leader. He wants to fight the leader. And he did all this stuff. He plotted with Kurapika, and he plotted just to make sure that he can fight and have his fight with the leader of the group or whatever, of the 12 spider group or whatever. And he ended up not being able to fight him because Kurapika, he took away his freaking abilities. He said he can't use power or he's gonna die, or he had to get the little thing off his heart in order to use his powers. But anywho, I feel like Hisoka, him being a badass, unpredictable, maniacal, but he's double agent. He's more like a rogue, a vagabond. He's more like a vagabond of a villain. So I feel as if Hisoka is definitely up there, like when it comes to villains. If not the best villain, the most interesting villain, because like I don't think we've yet to see his full power. In the manga, I think we have, when he ended up fighting the leader of the spider group, which he technically ended up dying. He should have died, but he didn't die, Hisoka. But yeah, him. Let's see. Another good villain would be Madara. Madara Uchiha from, I'm about to say One Piece. Madara Uchiha from Naruto. This dude has been talked about since the beginning of Naruto, like since Naruto was like a kid, and he plotted his revival since the beginning, like take control of the ninja world. Since everything didn't work out with him and the first, I'm gonna say Hashirama, but everything didn't work out with them, and then he's the strongest. KK Genkai with his little eye, the Sharingan. He mastered that, and he devised a plan with Obito, and he would mastermind that. He pawned and used all these freaking ninjas, all for his greater cause, all for his schemes. You know what I mean? And he ended up succeeding in the end. He actually ended up succeeding by creating the infinite Tsukiyomi and getting the eye on the freaking the moon and putting everyone under this genjutsu. If it wasn't for Sasuke being there with their raining gun, it would have been a wrap for everyone. You know what I mean? It would have been a wrap for everyone. So Madara, he's definitely on my list as one of the best villains. I would originally put Itachi on that list, but Itachi is the greatest. He's not a villain. He is like he's beyond a hero, you know. But this, you know, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We'll focus on the villains. Pain, Pain. When he first came on the scene, and you get all these cloak warriors with these suits. Well, obviously the Akatsuki get up with the red clouds, and then they all have the same eyes. You're like, what the hell is up with this dude? I remember seeing them in pictures, and they would always show like the Akatsuki. They would show like the eyes, and they would show like the shadowy figures. You can only see the silhouettes of them. Like you can see Itachi's eyes, you can see Kisami's like sword, his like you know, his shark sword or whatever. You could see Obito with the mask. You could see, well, I guess he was Toby then. You could see Toby with the mask. You could see, you know, you could just see a little Deidara. You could see, you know, just like his hand and with his little mouth coming out of his hand, you know. And then, you know, it's just so many cool things that made the Akatsuki dope. And then in the back, you would see the big old eyes with the running gun. And you'd be like, who the hell is this Pain guy? And then when they actually reveal who Pain is, his story with Yahiko and how they grew up, and bruh, what he did to Konoha, badass. Destroy the entire village. Well, almost destroy the entire village. Had it in shambles. Had everyone shook. Using that boom, boom. That when that was first introduced, bruh, mind blown. So Pain is definitely one of the greatest villains because the thing is like what he went through, what Pain went through is the reason why he became a villain. It's the reason why he had it out for Konoha and he had this conviction and he didn't want anyone to interfere with that because pain breeds more pain. This cycle never ends. It's always like that in the ninja world. Like you kill my family, there's gonna be a little one grows up and seeks revenge, and it's just that endless cycle. And he was within that cycle, and he even killed his master in that process, Jiraiya. You know, even killed him, man. And if it wasn't for Naruto convincing him with his ninja way, you know what I mean, he would have eventually ended up, you know, making it happen. Let's see. Another villain of mine, I would say that I enjoy or is good is Vicious from Cowboy Bebop. You know, he was on the same level. Granted, we didn't see too much of Vicious within the series. We only got like glimpses of their past and saw how Spike and Vicious interacted or so. But he was on par with Spike. You know, him and Spike were cool at one point in time, and you know, them being in a part of life that, you know, they had to do what they had to do. You know what I mean? So Vicious, he was actually pretty cool. He had like a sword. I think it was like a sword gun or something like that, which was pretty dope to see them fight at the end. Vicious was a interesting villain as well. Let's see, another villain in One Piece would be Blackbeard. Like he's not the most. The thing is, like within One Piece, it's kind of hard to tell who's like the good guys and bad guys. But Blackbeard is bad. That motherfucker bad. You know, um, um, killing people and then taking their fruit powers or so. I would say, you know what, Blackbeard's bad, but he is not as bad as Flamingo. Flamingo is bad, bad. That bruh, what he was doing to those kids how he was when he was a kid because he was like originally like one of the dragons, the you know the people who were of privileged life or whatever. He was a celestial dragon at one point in time, but his family ended up descending from the celestial dragons to be commoners and not treat people like this. And then that, that kind of tweaked him as he was younger. And he was like, since he was a kid, he was twisted, man. And then growing up and then testing out all these kids on these, he worked with, what's his name? The poison guy. I can't remember off the top. I just saw this arc too when he was meeting with BG. The fuck is his name? It's gonna bug me. Caesar. Bam, Caesar. Caesar is who it is. Caesar, did those experiments for Doflamingo where he was testing those kids, because Big Mama wanted giants, and he couldn't. She, it never worked, and so Caesar had to do more stuff. But Doflamingo was the one controlling the drugs, manufacturing the drugs, and so yeah, I feel like Doflamingo, he's like one of the like evilest and baddest villains or whatever. I would also like to say maybe, mm, I don't know. I would say Vegeta, but he's not. He's not a villain anymore. I don't know. I think that's all I can think of at the moment. Naraku from Inuyasha, he was kind of a bad villain, but he also had a human in him, so it kind of made him have a good side because he couldn't like permanently just kill Kikyo because he was just crazy in love with her, thanks to Onigumo. Um, but yeah, man, that's all I'm gonna touch on for today. The villains or so. Let me know your thoughts. There were so many villains like before they became bad guys, like before the androids, Android 17 and 18, before they became like good, they were scary as hell. Before Piccolo became good, he was scary as hell. Before we knew Itachi was good, he was scary as hell. Before Gara became a good guy, he was scary as hell. It's just there's so many different variables how to rank it. But I'm sure I left out some anime series because there's so many out there. But let me know your thoughts about your favorite villains or who you think should be ranked as one of the top villains. Um, I didn't say the guy. What the fuck was his name in Hunter X Hunter? Like within the Chimera Ant series, I didn't. I wouldn't say he's a villain. The King guy, because he was just learning, and he ended up dying because he could have just fucked everyone up. He could have, but he ended up dying with the girl he was playing cards with or whatever, and or playing the well, it wasn't cards, it was like chess or some shit, but like with dominoes. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't consider him a villain because that was actually sad when he died. Oh, the cruelest fucker. I don't know his name. I don't know his name off the top of my head. But Devilman Crybaby. The guy with the white. The guy who just killed everything. The devil. It was it's part of Lucifer or some shit like that. I don't know. I know he was the devil in a sense and killed everyone. Dude, he was pure evil. Dude was evil. Evil, evil, evil. So yeah, I would put him as number one evil guy. Maybe Dio. Dio's also a fucking jackass. So he would be on the list of like greatest villains or so. But there's just so many villains to name. We can name what's his name? The dude from Full Metal Alchemist. I think his name's King Bradley. I think his name is. He was actually one of my favorites. Like he was a badass. Like in Brotherhood at the end when he was just fighting everybody. Oh, he was whooping ass. Oh my goodness, he was whooping ass, man. But yeah, those are the list of some of the villains that come to my mind. But yeah, let me know you all's villains and your favorite villains and stuff of that nature. And yeah, man, I will be in touch. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna touch you through the screen. Through the screen, of course. But yeah, please subscribe and please comment and for sure hit that like button, man. Hit that like button for your boy. And man, yeah, man, y'all got any topics or anything y'all want me to talk about, just leave them in the comments and I'll discuss them, whether how shallow or non-important you think it is. To me, everything is important. All right, so do that and show your boy some love. I'm going to end this video. Actually, video was longer than I wanted it to be, but hey, man, I can't stop talking when I'm talking. I'll see you all later, and peace and love. Anything I'm forgetting? Mm, do some push-ups.